Alright guys, in this video we'll learn about the basic structure of a C program. We will understand it by making just a simple program to say hello world. Basically, programming is just telling the computer what you want it to do, and you can relate it to telling a human to do something. And if you want a human to say hello world, you'll basically just ask him and he's gonna say hello world. It is not that simple with a C program, but it's not very difficult too. You can imagine C program as a baby. It doesn't know anything in the beginning. Now think of it, you cannot ask a baby to say hello world. You first need him to even learn to speak anything. And just like a baby learns to speak before saying hello world, you also need your C program to learn how to speak. But in this case, you don't need to teach him anything. He already knows this stuff. All you need is to make him recall all this. Bring it into his memory. So how we do it? We simply do it just by writing #include, and then in angular brackets we just write what we want him to bring into his memory. In our case it's gonna be stdio.h. Well, technically it's a header file, but you can understand it as a memory or a knowledge of any C program that is stored inside another file that you need to call inside your C program. stdio stands for standard input output. Now let's get back to our baby example. Now we need our C program to speak hello world. But saying something is a function. So like a baby recalls his functions to say anything, we just need to create a function in our C program. We will create int main void, and then we will put curly braces. Now whatever we want our C program to do, we'll just write it inside our curly braces. Now let's understand what this is technically. Int here means integer. It tells the function that it's going to return an integer type value. But why integer type? Because when a main function returns 0 or 1, when it returns 0, it tells the computer that the program successfully executed. But when it returns 1, that means the program did not successfully executed. Now after int we have main. So main is basically the name of the function, and we need a main function to do something in a C program. So we just wrote main, and then inside parentheses we wrote void. That means this function does not take any kind of parameters. It's basically better to write this if we don't want to take any input from the user, because you don't need to take an input to speak hello world. So now let's get back to our baby stuff. Now inside our curly braces, we need to tell it to speak hello world. Now how we're gonna do? Just like we say a baby or a person to say hello world, we just ask him to say hello world. In our C program, we are gonna tell it by writing printf. Like say is command to speak, printf is a command to display. Now inside printf, if you are writing any word or alphabet or any character, you need to put it inside a single quote or a double quote. So let's put it inside a double quote, and then we'll write hello world. And just like we conclude any sentence in normal English by adding period in the end of it, we're gonna add a semicolon in the end of this program line. This is just gonna tell the computer that this line ends here. Now if our program successfully said hello world, we're just gonna return 0. So let's write return 0. And then we'll also end it by a semicolon. And that's all it. That we have created our first C program. Now let's run it. Let's open a terminal, or you can open command prompt or PowerShell, whatever you want. Just open terminal and then write gcc and then the name of the file. In my case it's hello.c. Now when I run this command, we see in our file explorer that there is a new file called a.exe. In Linux it's gonna be a.out. For Mac I don't know, I don't have Mac, and I never bothered also. So let's run our a.exe, check what's inside it. Let's write /a.exe. And we see hello world printed here. But we don't always want our executable file to be of name called a.exe. We want it to be something else like hello world.exe. So we're just gonna simply do it by adding some extra parameters in our gcc command. So let's write gcc hello.c -o, and then the name of the file, the executable file that I want. In our case, we'll write just hello world, and then we'll run it. And as you can see, there's a new file created of name helloworld.exe. Now let's run it to check if it's giving the same output or not. Let's run it. And it's working successfully. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you liked it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Thank you. Bye.